Hi and welcome to Radicals and Systems Day 2. Alright, so we're continuing solving radical equations, except today they're slightly different than yesterday. As you'll see, we might not always be able to isolate the radical, and sometimes we're going to have more than one variable, not just under the radical. So in example 1, I still want to get this radical x by itself, so I'm going to subtract x from both sides. When I do that, I will have 6 minus x equals the square root of x. Now, I need to square both sides. So I need to write it twice. 6 minus x times 6 minus x equals x. Because the x squared, or the squared and the square root cancel each other out. So on the left, I have to do a double distribution, or a FOIL, or box method, whatever you want, and I will get 36 minus 12x plus x squared equals x. So the next thing I'm going to do is subtract x from both sides. And I'm going to reorder it so my x squared comes first. Because it's positive and I can do that. Now I have x squared minus 13x plus 36 equals 0. So I need to ask myself, are there factors of 36 that add up to 13? And the answer to that is yes. They are 9 and 4. 9 and 4. And they are both minus. So, okay, so now I will have x equals 9 and x equals 4. So I need to check both solutions. So if I put 9 in for x, I'll have 6 equals 9 plus the square root of 9, and that will give me 6 equals 9 plus 3. So 6 equals 12 is not true. So that means I have to reject the 9. And let's see what we're doing with the 4. So 6, excuse me, equals 4 plus the square root of 4. So 6 equals 4 plus 2. So 6 equals 6. And I am good. Oh, I need to check that. My answer is 4. Then exercises 1 through 4, solve. Okay, we have to get the radical alone. So I'm going to subtract 1. And I'll have 3x minus 1 equals 2 radical x. I consider 2 radical x to be alone because there's no plus or minus sign between the number and the radical. So I'm going to square both sides. And when I do that, I will have 3x minus 1 times 3x minus 1 equals, I have to square the 2, 4, and then the square and the square root cancel, so it's just 4x. So when I multiply it here, I'll have 9x squared minus 6x plus 1 equals 4x. So the next thing I need to do is subtract my 4x. So I have 9x squared minus 10x plus 1 equals 0. Alright, so I need to factor. And 9 times 1 is 9. My factors of 9 that add up to 10 are negative 10, so negative 9 and negative 1. So I'm going to factor this by grouping. 9x squared minus 9x minus 1x plus 1 equals 0. So I'm going to group, and I'm going to group again, take out a 9x, and I will get x minus 1, and pull out a negative 1, and x minus 1 equals 0. So I have x minus 1, and 9x minus 1 equals 0. So x equals negative 1, and 9x, you say x equals positive 1. 9x equals 1, so x equals 1/9. And we have to check. So 3 times 1 equals 1 plus 2 times the square root of 1. So 3 equals 1 plus 2. So 3 equals 3. So 1 works. And then 1/9. 3 times 1/9 equals 1 plus 2 times the square root of 1/9. So this becomes a 1, this becomes a 3. So 1/3 equals 1 plus 2 times 1/3. So 1/3 is equal to 1 plus 2/3, and that's not going to work. So I can reject this one and keep the 1. Alright, number 2 is just like number 1. So add x to both sides. And then you finish. Your turn. Okay? Alright, moving on. For number 3, the radical is already by itself, so we just need to square both sides. So over here, the square and the square root cancels right out, so I have x plus 5 equals, write it twice. So x plus 5 equals x squared minus 2x plus 1. Subtract x, subtract 5. So 0 equals x squared minus 3x minus 4. So 0 equals x minus 4, and x plus 1 when we factor. So x equals 4, and x equals negative 1. So let's try. Square root of 4 plus 5 equals 4 minus 1. Square root of 4 plus 5 is 9. Minus 1 is 3, so 3 equals 3. That works. And then negative 1. I will have negative 1 plus 5 equals negative 1 minus 1. So the square root of 4 equals negative 2. 2 does not equal negative 2, so we have to reject and just keep the 4. Number 4 is kind of tricky. I am going to subtract the 2 square root of x minus 8. 2 square root of x minus 8 on both sides. The square root of 3x plus 7 equals negative 2 times the square root of x minus 8. Square both sides. Here the square roots cancel out, so I have 3x plus 7 equals negative 2 squared is 4 times x minus 8. So 3x plus 7 equals 4x minus 32. Subtract 3x. So I have 7 equals x minus 32. plus 32. So x equals 39. So check the square root of 3 times 39 plus 7 minus 2 times the square root of 39 minus 8 equals 0. Well, 3 times 39 is 7 carried 2, 117 plus 7 minus 2 times 31 equals 0. And this would be the square root of 124 minus 2 radical 31. And this is going to be 4 times 0. 4 goes in there. 31 times. Hang on. My mistake here. That should be a plus sign. So this is 2 radical 31 plus 2 radical 31, which can never be equal to 0 because I'm adding them. So I must go back here and reject that. So there is no solution. All right. Solve the equation. We can't really get one radical by itself here, just like we did in those other ones. So we're just going to move them on the other side. So radical x plus 3 equals 3 minus radical x. I can square both sides, and here I will get x plus 3. And on this side I will have 3 minus the square root of x times 3 minus the square root of x. So x plus 3 equals 9 minus a 3 radical x and another minus 3 radical x, and radical x times radical x is going to be plus x. So I have x plus 3 equals 9 minus 6 radical x plus x. Well, subtract x from both sides. 3 equals 9 minus 6 radical x. Subtract 9. So I have minus 6 equals negative 6 radical x. Divide by negative radical 6, or sorry, negative 6. So 1 equals radical x. Square both sides again. So x equals 1. So in a quick check, we have the square root of 1 plus the square root of 1 plus 3 equals 3. So 1 plus the square root of 4 equals 3. 1 plus 2 equals 3. So 3 equals 3. That works. So that is an answer. All right. For this one, we're going to have to do the same idea as up above. And it doesn't matter which radical you subtract. Just pick one of them. So the square root of x minus 3 equals 4 minus the square root of x plus 5. Square both sides. So x minus 3 equals, I write this twice, I will have 16 minus 4 radical x plus 5, another minus 4 radical x plus 5, And then plus x plus 5. So let's clean this up. X minus 3 equals 16 minus 8 radical x plus 5 plus x plus 5. So I can still clean up even more. So I have x minus 3 equals 21 plus x minus 8 radical x plus 5. Now I'm going to subtract x from both sides. And I'm going to subtract the 21 from both sides, get this radical alone. So I'll have negative 24 equals negative 8 radical x plus 5. Subtract by negative 8. So I will have 3 equals the square root of x plus 5. There we go. So 9 equals x plus 5 minus 5. X equals 4. And a quick little check. See where I can do my check up here. So I will have the square root of 4 minus 3 plus the square root of 4 plus 5 equals 4. So this will be the square root of 1 plus the square root of 9 equals 4. So 1 plus 3 equals 4. So 4 equals 4. So that works. So that means my answer is 4. Last problem, I'm going to have you do on your own. I'll get you started. Square both sides and then write it twice. All right, there you go.